Okay, so I want to talk about UTMs. UTMs are one of the most powerful ways to improve your campaigns and just get more data and also do specific retargeting. So let me show you something really cool here. So let's say that I want to send traffic to this site and I want to track how many people go through here, and I want to track exactly where they've come from because I'm running multiple campaigns. What I can do is I can go to this campaign URL builder on Google, just literally type in UTM builder and go to the first one. And what you're going to do is you're going to paste the destination of where the people are going to. So this could be on a specific landing page or homepage, anywhere. What you want to do is you want to define a source. So basically, say where these people have come from. Let's imagine that I am running a influencer campaign, and I'm going to do influencer as an example because that's a bit more complex than how you can do it in Google and Facebook. So let's say it's influencer. Medium, you could put something like IG story. Then we could give it a campaign name. So we could do like the influencer name. Let's say the influencer's name is Thomas. We do Thomas post_1. So what I'm doing here is I'm basically saying, I want Thomas, this random influencer that we've just come up with, I want him to send people to this page, and he's going to do that through a Instagram story post. And for us to track how many people came to our site and checked out, converted on my form, whatever, I'm going to define this campaign name because we're tracking this in both Google Analytics and like spreadsheets. So what you end up with is this down here. I'm actually conscious that you guys might not be able to see this because of my layout. There you go. So what's going on here is you have your base URL, which is known as your destination URL. Then you have a question mark, and then that defines that this string of text here is basic parameter. So we're defining the source, we're defining the medium, we're defining the campaign. Now what I can do is I can give this to Thomas, and every time someone clicks on this link and comes to my site, I'm going to be able to see in Google Analytics that X number of people came from this campaign specifically, and that is how you can track the effectiveness of that campaign. And so what you can do is you can do this on Google Ads, you can do it on Facebook. Those guys will work a little bit more dynamic, and I'll show you an example in Facebook in a second. But what will happen is this. So this is a Google Analytics account for an e-commerce brand with a lot of data. If I just change the data range here. So this is from a Facebook campaign that we are running using a UTM. And so what we can do now is we can create segments in our data to only look at the performance of people that came from that specific campaign. And so this helps when you're running like Facebook ads, for example, because what Facebook reports isn't really a true representation of what is actually going on your site. So I can look at things like bounce rate, which basically means how quickly did people jump off the site. The lower, the better. I don't actually think that this is accurate. I think there's an issue here because that's pretty damn low, which is awesome. Then we can look at things like how many orders came from a last click attribution from this campaign. We can look at like average time spent, conversion rates, and then if we really wanted to, like on our audience, we could segment our audience down by that campaign. So we could look at like age, gender, what Google thinks their interests are, where they're from, their behavior, what device type they're on. I can get all this data now about these people. Now, where it becomes even cooler is that if I go back to my UTM, what I can do here is I can copy this, I can go to Facebook, and I can create a custom audience under my pixel. And you do the same in Google, by the way. Now, let's say that I want to specifically retarget those people that came from that campaign. I can do that because all I got to do is just now paste that. And so whenever the URL of the user that came to our site within a 90-day period contained that UTM campaign, it will now create a custom audience. So I can just call it like Thomas influencer example, right? Create audience. Now I can add this audience into a retargeting campaign, and I could literally have an ad that's like, hey, did you recently come from Thomas's blah, blah, blah influencer campaign or Thomas's Instagram story? We've got a special offer for you. And whenever we've done that kind of promotion, we see huge numbers in sales because this is on e-commerce, by the way, because people obviously have like, oh yeah, I remember seeing that post. I clicked on that post. Where it gets even more interesting is that you can create a lookalike audience. So I can now, this to me, this is crazy. So what I can do now, if we get this out the way, what the fuck? Excuse me, Facebook is being a pile of crap, which is normal. Okay, so what I can do is I can now create a lookalike audience of those people that came from his audience. So it's not as effective as it used to be, but what you could basically do in the past, and you can still do it now, you just have to go more broad, is you could say, look, Thomas has 1 million followers and only, 5,000 people came to my site. I want to reach his whole audience because I'm pretty confident that his whole audience resonate with my brand. So I can create like a broad lookalike. So what you're saying here is you're saying, find me the top 3% of people that find me the top 3% of people on Facebook and Instagram that look like the 5,000 people that came to my site, and we're being as specific as the people that clicked on Thomas's Instagram story, who are obviously followers of Thomas and engaging with him. And so that's when you can really start ramping things up. And this is all done through UTMs, which is crazy. Many people still aren't using them. If you want to create them dynamically, which you can do in Facebook, because as you can probably imagine, if you're creating, say, 100 campaigns of Facebook, having to put this information in every time and copy the link, make sure it's right, it's just time consuming. So what you can actually do is, if you go to your ad, we go to here, and then we scroll down. So down here, you have these URL parameters. What I can do is I can build a URL parameter dynamically. So I can set something to be fixed forever. So Facebook as a source. And what I can do is I can choose any of these. So I can say campaign name, add content. Now you can even create your own custom naming conventions, which is really, really cool. So if I wanted to include the ad set, I could do that. So I could literally just type ad set, and then the value, you just select the ad set name. We could even include the placement. So if you're doing automatic placements and you want to see, like, did you actually get more conversions from the Instagram story ad versus the Facebook in-stream feed ad, you could do that. And so what happens is you have this final URL template here that Facebook will output every time someone clicks a link on your ad. And as a result, anything between these brackets will get populated automatically. And so then in your campaigns, that's how, in this example here, that I showed you before, where we had, so we can get back to it. It said like bottom of funnel, retargeting UK, August sale. So that is how this was inputted. I didn't write this manually. I didn't write this manually either. These people that came through here, that was automatically generated through Facebook. And you can do something similar in Google. And that's literally what UTMs can do. So if you haven't already tried UTMs, try them ASAP. And to be honest with you, I would just always use them in future campaigns. Like if you do SEO, if you do article writing, even as like specific as people that came to your site through Linktree, like you can put UTM there. Wherever there's a link, you can put UTM. Highly recommend it. Obviously, don't put it in your emails too much because that can ruin delivery rates. But if you're doing email marketing to your own customers, definitely use UTMs because that's another way to track how many people actually came from your email and then signed up and made a sale. So hope this helps. As always, let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next one.